All right, today for math, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be renovating the classroom. Welcome to Extreme Makeover Edition 4th grade. So to start, we need to fix our floor. You've seen our floor. It's a bunch of different colors, and we need to change the floor. I think we could use some carpet. So let's think about our room. Think about the classroom right now. Channel it. What shape is it? Our classroom, it is not a perfectly shaped sided classroom, but the shape, it's a rectangle. So our class shape is a rectangle. Now we do know how to find the perimeter. And what's the perimeter? The perimeter is the distance around the surface of a polygon. So a rectangle is a polygon. So if we went all the way around the outside, would perimeter help us in finding how to put carpet on our floor? No, not unless you are carpeting the walls and just the baseboards How weird would that look? No, but we need to cover not the outside, we need to cover the inside. So in order to do this extreme makeover, we need to find the inside. There's a term for the inside and it's called the area. We are finding the area, which is the inside of a shape. Now, instead of just going, oh, the inside, that's area, because that could be any big glob, what they do is they have divided them into these things called square units. You might have seen carpet sold on the commercials, and they say, oh, it's this much a square yard. So a square yard would be a literal square yard. So think of a yardstick. It would be 1 yard this way, 1 yard this way, 1 yard this way, 1 yard this way. That would be your square yard. So if you have a square foot, it would be 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. Like in a square, if it were a square inch, you would have 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch, okay? So this would be your square inch. It's 1 inch on each side. Does that make sense? The perimeter would basically be 1 inch on each side. Now, this is how to find our area. Now, when I was a kid, I would go to Home Depot all the time because my mom loved to go to Home Depot and my dad. My dad didn't like it so much, but my mom always wanted to do projects. And I would walk by these tiles and I'd say, Mom, Dad, let's do this tile. It's only $1.44 for this tile, like a tile floor. And my parents would say, oh, yeah, well, it's not just one. They'd say, oh, well, you have to buy a bunch. And I said, yeah, but even if you bought a few, it wouldn't be that much. And they said, no, because you have to cover your entire area of your floor. So each tile might have been a square foot, but if you have a room that is 8 feet long and 10 feet wide, you're not just looking at buying one tile. You have to buy in this case it would be 80 tiles, but which if you're having $1.44, that's not expensive, but when you're buying 80 tiles, it gets expensive. We're talking about area today, and area is the inside of a shape, and it's divided into square units. You can see on our chart, we have a rectangle here, and so look, they divided each one into squares. Equal squares to measure it in a quick way. So you have 8, and then you have 8, and then you have 8, and then you have 8, which equals there are 32 square units. And this square, you can count this up, and there are 25 square units. It's pretty easy, I would say. Today's lesson is pretty simple. They just want you to understand that the area is in the inside, okay? So wherever you're at in your house, I'm going to call out either area or perimeter. If I call out area, I want you to sit in the area of your room, or wherever you're at. If I say perimeter, I want you to run to the perimeter of your, wherever you're at. Okay, ready? Perimeter. Hopefully you went against the one of the edges of the room or the wall. Area. I'm sitting on the floor. I'm sitting on the area. Area. Perimeter. Okay. Are you in the perimeter? So, the difference with perimeter is the outside edges and area is on the inside of the shape. Area is the inside of the shape, the guts of the shape, and the perimeter is the outside of the shape. Now let's look at page 285. Okay, 285. Area measures the surface of a simple closed region. Area is found by dividing the region into square units. So if we took the time to look at the purple shape, it is in 96 little boxes, 96 square units. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If those were in square feet, if those were in feet, we would have square feet. If these were in inches, we'd have square inches. If these were yards, we'd have square yards. Okay, so let's look at this next one. This is an odd polygon, but there are 55 square units in that one. Let's look at section 1. Find the square units in each figure. So what you can do is you can count them all going across, and you can tell me how many are in that box. How many did you count? Keep going, keep going. When you got done counting, you should have this many square units. I'm not going to tell you, you got to figure it out. So what I want you to do is pause this video and be honest. It's funny how I can tell that some of you are being honest because I can see it in your math. When I see it on your math tests and quizzes, I'm like, they got it. They've been watching my geometry videos. And then some people I'm saying, they've been waiting for me to say the answer because they're having a little bit tough time, but we've been going over it every day. So let's look at this. Yeah, I'm talking to you. So let's look at this section 1. Pause it. Pause it. Did you pause it? Now, if you finish this, 1A is 80 square units. B is 64 square units. And C is 23 square units. Now look at section 2. Count the number of square inches. These are inches. So count the number of square inches in the rectangle. So let's count them. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the correct answer is 18 square units, or 18 square inches, because we're talking about inches. Now it says, is there a better way to find the area without dividing the object into square inches and counting the squares? You might have noticed something. How many are going across? 6. There's 6 across, and there's 3 down. 6 times 3 is 18 square units. Right. We can even see this if you look at B. See B? Let's count across one row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 across, and then count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So instead of counting all of those individually, you could say 8 times 8 is 64. So we found a way to save time, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you about that till just now, and you had to count all of those individually. Of course, the other ones weren't probably as easy as that. The only way is if you divided that shape into like little sections and then counted them like that. All right, now I want you to pause for section 3. Write those in. And then I want you to play this. I'm going to tell you these shapes, but I want you to pause this because, and give yourself about a minute. But some of you are just copying the answers, and then when it gets to the test, you've been having a hard time and can't tell me your shapes. All right, pause it, and here we go. For section 3, it's A is a square, B is a triangle, C is parallelogram. Now, parallelogram, it's got the parallel lines and it looks like a rectangle on its side. D is a rhombus. Now remember, the difference between a parallelogram and a rhombus is every side is the same length, so it's like a square on its side. And a parallelogram has two sides that are equal, so it's like a rectangle on its side. E is a circle, F is a rectangle, G is a trapezoid, and H is a right angle. Not just an angle, but a right angle. Pause for section 4. Now 4A is, you would just use 40 or 4 to estimate. B, you know how to count by 15s. And C, I love because you can just kind of use 100 to estimate and say, okay, 100 would go into 670. How many times? Well, 678 is almost close to 700. So how many times would 10, or how many times would 9 go into 67? Technically, it would go into it 7 times. And you could even count by hundreds, and it would be almost 7 times. So that would be your first start, 7. Okay. So work on those, then play. Here's your answers for section 4. 222, B, 233, remainder 7, and C, 722, remainder 25. Remember, if you don't do all this work, you're the one who's going to be suffering, not everybody else around you. All right, section 5, solve these story problems. From New York, and if you need help, rather than just suffering for a long time, don't forget, you can call me, text me, or message me at any time, or Facebook me, or, Marco Polo me, or whatever, anytime you need it, and our Google Classroom, and I will try to get to it, especially if you call me during a school hour, I will be able to get to you really fast. Okay. 5A, from New York, it is 58.1 miles to Trenton and 186.5 miles to Baltimore. How much farther is it to Baltimore than to Trenton? When you're seeing how much farther, what do we need to do? We're going to need to subtract. You are right. So subtract and tell me the answer. It is 128.4 miles farther. Now the next one is Sabrina gets $5.25 a week for her allowance. How much will she receive in 7 weeks? Do the problem. Pause this. And you should get $36.75. All right, section 6 says find those products. Pause this and then play. This is your answer for A. Pause it. 321,762. 321,762. B is 52,234. 52,234. C is 4,005. D is 3/16. All right, now the next section says find the perimeter of these polygons. Use the correct formulas. Remember, we stressed of how important it is to write the right formulas. Because if not, it's like you're writing a recipe for the wrong thing. So look at A. It's a rectangle. So when we know perimeter of a rectangle, P of a rectangle, P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. If it's 4 and 3, here P equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. Then plug it in. P equals 2 times 4 plus 2 times 3. P equals 8 plus 6. P equals 14 feet. Remember, this is the outside. This is the perimeter. Perimeter. This is like your fence. And then area is the inside. This is like where the actual playground is. The more important part, the part in there. All right, now the next one is find the perimeter of that rectangle. Fun. Now you can do P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. P equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. P equals 2 times 17 plus 2 times 19, or 12. Sorry, I thought it said 19. P equals 34 plus 24, and P equals 58 yards. The last one is a square, so it's a different formula. It is P equals 4 times S. Remember, it's a square, so we're looking at 4 sides that are equal. 4 sides. P equals 4 times S. P equals 4 times 7. P equals 28 inches. Yes. All right, we are done with our page for today. Hopefully you were able to work on that all and figure that out. Tomorrow we're going to learn a formula for the area of a rectangle, which I'm super excited because it's pretty easy. I actually think it's way easier than finding perimeter. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.